You will turn readers off your book if you don't fully understand hard and soft magic systems and get them right in your story. Get this wrong, and readers won't just be confused, they'll stop caring entirely. But I'm here to help you fix that. In this video, I'm revealing the critical failures fantasy authors make when creating hard and soft magic systems, mistakes that will lose your readers' interest. But if you understand exactly what these failures are and why they're sabotaging your story, I can guide you to success in your story's magic system. No matter what kind of magic system you create, it will either be a hard or soft system type. As I demonstrated in my previous video, all magic systems can be plotted within a quadrant and fall under a combination of two of the four core types. And one of those types has to be on the horizontal axis, the spectrum from soft to hard magic. Hard magic systems have clearly defined rules, explicit limitations, and consequences. Think Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn, where the magic follows specific rules and readers know exactly how it works. It's consistent, logical, and predictable enough that readers can anticipate outcomes based on the established mechanics. Soft magic systems, on the other hand, have fewer defined rules, relying on mystery and wonder rather than rigid guidelines. Think Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, where magic is more mysterious and not fully explained. Its boundaries aren't explicitly laid out, leaving readers with a sense of awe. Neither approach is inherently better, but if you don't know how to best implement these types for your novel, you'll damage readers' trust and destroy the emotional connection that makes them care about your story. Let's dive straight into the critical failures fantasy authors make when creating their magic systems, and exactly how these mistakes sabotage readers' connection to your story. The first major mistake is creating a hard magic system that's too rigid and too technical. You might have commendably intricate, detailed rules, but when magic gets so complicated it turns completely science or science textbook, readers lose that sense of wonder that drew them to fantasy in the first place. When the mechanics of your magic overshadow the emotional journey of your characters, readers stop connecting. They stop caring about why any of these rules matter. And really, if you get honest with yourself, do they matter for your story's arc? Do they help you convey what the story is really about? Your story loses its emotional heart because the magic isn't serving your story's deeper purpose. It's just distracting. Mistake number 2. You've created firm, clear rules, but then you break or bend them too much when your plot needs you to. You may have good reasons, like to try to show a character's transformative breakthrough, or maybe all that rigidity meant extra complexity that got too tangled for the needs of your story. So you opted to solve a tricky plot issue quickly with questionable magic. But here's the cost. Readers sense immediately when magic rules get thrown out the window. They feel tricked, manipulated, and frustrated. The magic suddenly feels arbitrary, not mysteriously intriguing, but confusing. And once readers lose trust in your rules, they'll struggle to trust the rest of your story. This next mistake is the opposite issue. Magic that's so loose and convenient, it starts solving more problems than it creates. Fantasy is so great because it heightens the real world themes and issues we want to explore, often in ways far more stark or clear than realistic genres. So while soft magic can occasionally work as characters want it to, and how unexpected it is can be quite humorous when it reverses rote reader expectations that way. Magic isn't normally an easy out. It's not effective for your story arc that way. It should complicate your characters' lives, adding layers of tension and conflict to push them toward their transformation. The magic's rules or lack of them are best when they serve that end goal. Some level of escapism with easy magic is fine, but that's not going to sustain a whole novel on its own. Readers will lose the stakes, which diminishes their ability to care. There's not enough to root for, hope for, fear for. There's no real reason to want to see a character struggle and change. But that's one of the subconscious desires readers want from a story, to vicariously experience that struggle and growth. With too soft magic, the story feels unearned, unrealistic, even by fantasy standards. Instead of drawing readers into your magical world, you're pushing them to apathy. Another critical mistake is having a soft magic system with no discernible limits. This is similar to the previous mistake, but it's a nuance I see more often. Magic might not actually solve everything in your story, but readers don't know why it couldn't. Even mysterious magic must have some boundaries and consistency. Otherwise, readers have no way to anticipate, guess, or care about what's possible. The story might all feel like a bunch of plot hole questions strung together, but technically, there's no way for readers to say that's actually the case. Without some clear or implied limits, the magic reads as random and unpredictable. Not intriguing, but frustrating. Readers can't invest emotionally in something they can't even grasp, so they disengage, losing interest and emotional attachment to your characters and their challenges. Perhaps most critically, authors who don't understand that magic systems live on a spectrum from soft to hard go to either extreme end. In doing so, they fail to recognize what's good about both sides. Ironically, I see this mistake most often with authors who are all in on their chosen system type. Mostly, it's with hard magic authors who get too caught up in creating the system to be absolutely plot hole proof. They want their stories to have such clear limits and intricate workings to make sure everything is explained soundly that they lose sight of what makes that technicality useful in their stories and simply what makes magic magical. But the same thing happens in the opposite way with soft magic authors. It's just not as obvious. Perhaps this is because so often for them, soft magic becomes the default because it was the rough draft or zero draft stand-in before they really focused on the system for magic, which is a totally valid way to go about writing while making sure the story arc is the real focus, by the way. They care so much about the story, which is great, but then they neglect to really consider what level of rules and limits and intricacies would best serve that story. Or by that point, they've created too many inconsistencies with how they need the magic to be used in their plots that they didn't know how to write themselves out of it when they tried to solidify the magic system in revision. It's this point that they, usually completely self-aware, justify their manuscript's magic system problems by insisting it's just a super soft and mysterious one. However, this means they're not making it work hard for their story's purposes. At both extremes, your readers miss out that best of both worlds feeling, where rules and mystery coexist, giving readers just enough clarity to invest emotionally, yet enough unpredictability to feel the sense of magical wonder, of something bigger and greater. Without this careful balance, your magic and your story loses depth, intrigue, and the chance to deliver that page-turning suspense readers love. The good news is that all these critical mistakes have one clear, actionable solution. The key to fixing magic system mistakes, whether your magic is hard or soft, is always including clear, story-driven limits and meaningful consequences. Limits are what make magic believable and compelling, and consequences are what make it meaningful. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. If you're using a hard magic system, definitely have your rules clearly defined, but also leave room for some mystery or unknown elements that readers can discover alongside your characters. The trick is to seed in these possibilities early enough so that when the surprising element does emerge, it feels exciting and earned and not random. If your story leans towards soft magic, even subtle or hinted at rules can anchor your magic system. You don't need to spell it out fully for your readers, but you, the author, should know at least a little more behind the scenes about how your magic works so you can keep it showing up in a consistent enough way on the page. Even if your characters don't fully understand the magic, readers will still sense there's structure behind the mystery, allowing them to stay emotionally engaged. Now, your magic system is naturally going to fall closer to one side or the other of the spectrum, hard or soft, based on what your story needs most. Identify that first, but don't be afraid to blend in elements from the opposite end. That's often where the real magic happens for your readers. When you blend them effectively, you're giving readers the satisfaction of clear logic alongside the emotional thrill of surprise and wonder. You get to combine structure and clarity with the immersive mystery readers crave. It's the ultimate balance, logical enough to keep readers grounded, yet magical enough to delight and surprise. But I get it. I've worked with many talented authors, and I know firsthand how tricky finding this balance can be. It's easy to get stuck, second guess yourself, or lose perspective on your own magic system. You might be wondering right now if you've made your magic system clear enough, or if you've accidentally written your story into a corner with conflicting rules. I've had authors come to me after they've spent months, sometimes even years, pouring their hearts into drafts that simply didn't work, often in large part because their magic system wasn't truly serving the story. Their manuscripts were technically finished, but felt forced in the part that was supposed to feel the most magical. This doesn't set up a story to become a published, marketable book, nor will it have as much impact or staying power for readers. But the authors I've seen succeed the fastest and achieve the most powerful results got direct, personalized feedback early in their writing process. They had the freedom to iterate on their draft and brainstorm with someone who understood both the storycraft and reader psychology. That's exactly why I created the Enchant Your Readers book coaching program. I designed this program specifically to help fantasy authors build magic systems and so much more into stories that hook readers deeply, deliver emotional payoff, and keep them coming back for an incredible immersive experience with every new book release. Here's exactly how Enchant Your Readers helps you achieve this. You'll get personalized, detailed feedback tailored specifically to your magic system and your story's unique arc, ensuring your magic always enhances your narrative rather than distracts from it. In our coaching sessions and private community, you'll be able to directly brainstorm with me to blend hard and soft magic effectively, finding the perfect balance between logical clarity and emotional intrigue. Unlike traditional editing, you're not limited to a single round of feedback. You'll have ongoing, unlimited reviews and guidance as you revise, helping you avoid costly, time-consuming mistakes. You won't waste months or even years on a manuscript that isn't working. You'll know what to do to make your book publishable. You'll have the step-by-step process so you can polish your manuscript with confidence, knowing your magic system and overall story are designed to create the kind of emotional connection and immersive experience that readers crave. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to what authors inside Enchant Your Readers have experienced working through their science fiction or fantasy stories with me.
A year and a half up to this point, I've worked on things like character backstory, wounds, misbeliefs, and deep outlining, but always more in an intuitive yet very unorganized approach. Let me tell you, putting structure to the process helped me out immensely.
Also, the scene spellbook has been an absolute dynamo with just making sure that each scene is on point and each one is adding something to the story. So it just adds so much more tension.
The nice thing is that, I mean, those books gave me a lot of structure, but it was your brain science that really clued me in to the emotion of it, that connects it. It just all seemed to fall into place. And I've been working on this stuff for decades, and it's just like, man, how come I'm not getting this? I mean, I'm not that dumb. I just thank you, because if I hadn't gotten in touch with you, I would have been in really big trouble. It's just, I still wouldn't be half as far where I am. And the story is so much more interesting to me now, and because of all the work that you and I have done, and even in this group and listening to everybody else, it's really helped. So it's been really great. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
If you're serious about writing and publishing fantasy novels readers will fall deeply in love with, don't guess your way through it, struggling with all the uncertainty and imposter syndrome alone. Let's make your magic and your entire story into a novel readers can't stop thinking about. Click the link in the description right now to join Enchant Your Readers and finally craft a magic system readers absolutely love to nerd out about.